going to show you how creative use of user-defined fields can help you to record additional key information about the pupils in your school. It also means that you can tailor the content of your pupil record just a little bit to make it relevant for your pupils, and also hopefully save you some time and streamline your processes. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to have a look at the pupil record, which you may be familiar with. As you know, within the pupil record, we record a large amount of information about a pupil, but sometimes there are things that just don't quite fit. There are sometimes things that you as a school want to record and you need somewhere to put it. Now, there is functionality to be able to create user-defined fields, so to be able to add the things in that you would like to. Now, if you look along at the panels at the top, you will see that panel 13 is a specific area for user-defined fields. So if I click on there, you can see that I made one earlier that is for a locker number, and you can type the locker number in there, which would hopefully speed things up a little bit for you if a pupil lost a key, for example, and couldn't remember their locker number. Now, it's important to remember that the user-defined fields don't have to go into this area. They can go into pretty much any area you like along the top here. So, for example, if I click into medical, and I scroll down to the bottom, these are all hard-coded, but at the bottom here, I've added a tick box for whether or not that child carries an EpiPen. So, of course, if a child has severe allergies and carries an EpiPen, you have a way of marking that in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you might set it up yourself and why you would maybe want to set it up yourself. So to set up a user-defined field, we go into Tools, Setups, and User-Defined Fields. And what you can do here is you can do a search to see which user-defined fields are already set up. And these are the two that I showed you within the pupil record. If I want to set up a new user-defined field, I click New in the top left corner here. Now, I've had quite a few schools contact me and ask me how they can record information about work experience. So that's what I'm going to use today as an example. So in the basic field details for description, I'm going to put in work experience. So has this pupil or not had their work experience yet? Now this is where you can decide when we get to field type what you want the data entry to be like. Do you want it to be some text, either single line or multi-line? You can put a date, a number, a decimal. In this instance, I'm going to put a true or a false answer because it's a tick box. They've either done work experience or they haven't. Another nice one for that might be date. Now at the moment, the data domain is set to school, but of course this is about a pupil. So we're going to change this to Parson, but this does give you an idea that you can add user-defined fields to different areas within the software as well. So I'm going to change it to Parson, and this is going into the student details. So you can see the data areas below, again just showing you the scope of where you can add user-defined fields. But in this case, we're adding to the pupil record. So let's go to student details. Now this little bit here can be a little bit tricky because you can see that the panel automatically defaults to user-defined fields. If you click on the right-hand side, you can't quite see there's a drop-down, but if you click here, you can choose which panel within the pupil record you would like that user-defined field to go. In this instance, we are going to put it into the user-defined fields section. I've got the tick box there to say that it's active. I'm happy that everything is where it should be, and I'm going to save that there. Now, I'm going to pick up a pupil again. And if I go to panel 13, you'll see that there is now a work experience tick box available there for me to mark whether that pupil has had that or not. Now, I mentioned earlier that it might save you a little bit of time. You can now bulk update the tick boxes in user-defined fields. So if I go to Routines, and I go to Student, and I go to Bulk Update, I'm going to go to Year Group, and I'm going to pick Year 10, and user-defined fields on the data item there, you can see that work experience is in there, as well as my EpiPen one, because that's the true or false. If I do a search, there we go. And then what I can do is I can say, yep, check all of my year 10s have had their work experience except for maybe 1 or 2. And that means you don't need to go in manually to every single pupil record and do it bit by bit. So hopefully you can see that user-defined fields give you the flexibility to record a wide range of data about your pupils, and that should be able to help support with things like safeguarding, welfare, pupil progress, and also hopefully make your processes a little bit quicker. As a next step, I would recommend accessing the Setting Up and Administering SIMS handbook. There's some information about user-defined fields on page 152. One of the easiest ways to access this handbook is through the Documentation Centre. If you click on the documentation logo in the right-hand corner of your SIMS homepage, it will take you there. If you'd like to access more resources like this, make sure you have a look at the Customer Success My Account page and watch it if you want to stay up to date.